After months of downside, SUI is sitting at a level that decides everything. Either the bottom is in, or we could be preparing to experience another leg down. In this video, I'll break down what I think is most likely, and I'll back my thesis with current macro events and fundamentals for this project. But before I get into all of that, guys, this is Royalty Crypto, and if you like SUI and just altcoin content in general, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. But without further ado, let's take a look at SUI. As you can see, we are currently trading at $1.44 for this project, which equates to just shy of $5.5 billion for the market cap. One of the things that I love about this project is that it consistently has a very high 24-hour trading volume, and you can see today we are sitting just shy of $700 million traded, and that is actually on the lower end for this project, as a lot of times we are over $1 billion traded. In my opinion, this shows the amount of hype and how fantastic the community is for SUI, and that does go a long way in terms of price action if you are willing to be patient and wait through these bearish periods. And although the price action for SUI has not been the best for the past couple of months, that is because it is ultimately following the overall altcoin market. But the good news is they have been continuing to build during this bearish period, and that is what you like to see in these solid projects. As you can see here, they recently implemented a new upgrade which merges transaction validation with consensus, and that will help SUI achieve unprecedented transaction speeds and reduce latency. In my opinion, this does help SUI solidify itself as one of the top layer 1 blockchains in terms of technology, and I believe that that is a fantastic narrative going into the upcoming altcoin season. Now, of course, nobody has a crystal ball, so it's impossible to say when we will get another altcoin season, but in my opinion, we are going into the expansion phase of the business cycle, so it's just a matter of time before this increased liquidity starts to make its way to the crypto market, and I believe that that is when we can expect to see more bullish momentum return to the crypto space. Also, you can see that the DeFi ecosystem for SUI is significantly growing, and we recently surpassed $2 billion in total value locked. So again, although the price action has been bearish for the past couple of months, the fundamentals for this project have been continuing to grow stronger, and it's just a matter of time before stronger fundamentals translates to bullish price action, in my opinion. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention about SUI is they are working on implementing more privacy features to their blockchain, and privacy has been one of the hottest narratives in all of crypto for the past couple of months, and in my opinion, this could help strengthen the SUI narrative going into the next crypto bull run. So going back to the SUI chart, you can see that we've basically been trending sideways since late November of last year, but it does seem like it is increasingly more likely that we are forming a bottom here. I think that for SUI, it is very important for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana to have another leg up before SUI will regain bullish momentum, and at the moment, these projects are all basically doing the same thing, and that is trading sideways. I believe the main reason that we have yet to experience a bullish breakout for these coins is because we've had a lot of macro FUD going around for the past couple of months. And the newest event that has people scared is the fact that we potentially could be going back into a government shutdown on Saturday. Now, unfortunately, a couple days ago, it seemed like there was almost 0% chance that this was going to happen because the House successfully passed their new funding bill for the government. But unfortunately, with the ICE situation taking place, the Senate Democrats decided to potentially veto this bill unless the Republicans completely remove the ICE funding. Now, I don't like to get too much into politics on this channel, but I do believe that this is important to talk about because it could potentially cause a lot of volatility in the crypto space. So I'll continue to monitor this for the next couple of days, but if these odds do continue to go up and it seems more and more likely that the government will be shut down, I could see us having a somewhat rocky week in terms of price action. But at the end of the day, this is all just short-term FUD, and we will get past this, and in my opinion, it is likely that we will see less volatile things happening in the macro the closer we get to the midterms. This is because, in my opinion, Trump will be incentivized to have the least amount of controversial things taking place so that the Republicans can get more votes. So if that is actually the case, that is when we can start to reasonably expect to have some bullish momentum for the market. And whenever that bullish momentum does return to the crypto space, I think that SUI could potentially be one of the best performing assets in 2026. As I mentioned earlier, we are currently sitting at a $5.5 billion market cap, but I could see SUI getting anywhere between a $50 billion market cap to as high as a $100 billion market cap. So if you are accumulating at today's prices, you could potentially see a 10 to 20x on your money in a relatively short period of time. Now, of course, that is not financial advice, and I urge you to do your own research independently from these videos, but that is just my opinion, and I do think that it could very well happen. Now, the one thing that I did want to mention that I do believe is a bearish catalyst for SUI in particular is the fact that we only have about 33% of the tokens unlocked. When you scroll down to their unlock schedule, you can see that we'll be dealing with steady inflation on this project until about late 2030, so that is something that you should be aware of. Whenever projects have less than ideal tokenomics, it increases the overall risk in investing in the asset, so please make sure that if you are investing into SUI, you understand what you are getting into. But nevertheless, I still think this project could have a very solid next couple of years because of the amazing fundamentals. But alright guys, I wanted to shift our attention to the overall crypto market because there is a lot of things that are taking place right now that could potentially be bullish for the overall market. As you can see here, we had some FUD with Canada and China making a trade deal over the weekend, and Trump actually threatened Canada with a potential 100% tariff on the country. But good news is Canada came out and said today that they have no plan in signing a free trade deal with China after President Trump had made that threat. So hopefully that is the case and that we can go ahead and remove that tariff, because these tariffs do cause a lot of FUD for the overall market, but they are undoubtedly effective. Another potentially bullish catalyst is the US Senate is set to meet on the overall crypto market structure bill on Thursday of this week. Unfortunately, this was delayed again, as it was supposed to happen on Tuesday because of the extreme weather that they're dealing with in that area, but nonetheless, they will be meeting on it and potentially voting on it later this week, and this could be a very bullish catalyst for crypto. Not only would this bill potentially reduce the overall manipulation in the crypto market, it will also make it much easier for institutions and banks to invest into this asset class, and the more money that flows into crypto, the better it is in terms of price action. Alright, and then the last thing that is taking place this week that could cause a lot of volatility is the FOMC meeting. As you can see here, it is taking place on Wednesday of this week, and at the moment there is a 97% chance that we will leave rates unchanged. So in my opinion, it won't be bearish if we do end up keeping these rates paused, because that is what the market is expecting. However, what will cause volatility is when Jerome Powell has his press conference. If you're investing into risk on assets, you want Jerome Powell to have the most dovish Fed conference possible, which means he hints at potentially cutting rates in the next meeting or potentially the meeting to follow that. If his speech ends up being hawkish and he mentions nothing about potentially cutting rates in the near future, that is when you can expect a lot of bearish volatility to enter the crypto space. So yeah guys, just make sure that you ignore any FUD that does take place this week, because the majority of it is just short term, and if you zoom out, none of this really matters. And if we do continue to get negative price action, I will be personally accumulating, because it's best to buy when there's blood in the streets, and we have seen a lot of blood in the streets in the past couple of months. But alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Peace.